Well, good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, October the 16th, 2020, and you are tuned in to the number one morning political primer in the nation. That is the Savage Political Bite. I am your founder and host, Erica Savage, and I do appreciate you joining me on today with 17 days till November the 3rd. So glad that you could join, and it's been a little minute. We haven't been together since last Friday, so I'm just going to give a few minutes for everybody to jump on, for everybody to connect. It has been a long, long time, friends. And while I'm doing that, my favorite, good morning, Aunt Carla. It is always fantastic to see you, Fashionista. Thank you so much for joining. I've missed you all, but definitely um, had to be away for a little bit. Good morning, my girl Erin. Fantastic to see you. How are you? My sister, y'all, it's my bestie for over 20 years. Good morning, Nikki. Always fantastic to see you. She's down with the 4 a.m. club. She has been along before a whole lot of people. It is always fantastic to see you. And I do thank you all for just that little time away from the Savage Political Bite to take care of something. And I'll chat about that a little bit later at the end of the broadcast. Well, look at there. It is my sister Joyce Elamine. Good morning, Joyce, and congratulations to you, love. Bike Gang, we do have a newlywed in our midst, Joyce. And I love that Joyce waited to post and share on a fantastic day yesterday, the birthday of our beautiful Femi Anderson, Forever Femi, hashtag Forever Femi. Joyce, you are so sweet, beautiful, and special. I thought that was so awesome to do, and congratulations to you, love. I miss you all as well. Good morning, Debbie. Fantastic to see you. Welcome, 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 welcome. It's really good to see everyone. Good morning, Elaine from Fernley, Nevada. All right, Nevada, stand up. And I believe that you all are like 2 hours behind or 2 or 3 hours behind. So I really appreciate you joining because it's a little earlier there. Good morning to you, Dietrich. It is fantastic to see you all. I did miss you all, Bite Gang. And again, we'll definitely be chatting about that, just kind of to tie out the bite. But I appreciate you all. Yeah, Joyce, congratulations. So excited for Joyce. Joyce is such a beautiful spirit. Anybody that is had the privilege of being around her, she is absolutely a beautiful spirit. And Mama is proud of you, girl. So congratulations to you. Okay, so you get ready to walk, Elaine. Okay, well, fantastic. So Elaine will be exercising while we do this exercise in politics. How about that? Fantastic to see everybody. Well, I hope you do have your favorite morning beverage. Mine is agua. Y'all know I love, love, love water. So let's go ahead and get going this morning. So guys, as I mentioned at the top, we do have 17 days until November the 3rd. 17 days. We are literally under 3 weeks until November the 3rd. And right now, over 14 million people have cast ballots. 14 million people. That is an incredible number of people to have already, when we look at the numbers from 2016, when we go back to 2012, when we look at other presidential elections, particularly in modern day history, this is record shattering. And the one thing that I would urge for everyone, as Georgia has really stepped up, thank you so much, my love. I am a lot more relaxed, and I'm definitely going to take a lot more time over the weekend to continue to do more, to be more rested. So thank you so much, my love. But we have states like Georgia, North Carolina, that are definitely showing out. Texas, there's one particular county in Texas that is for the city of Austin, that they have had 97% registration. My girl Sloans, good morning. Yes, ma'am, I am back. That's my sister, y'all. Good morning, Sloan. So fantastic to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we've got historic numbers, Texas. We've got historic numbers in Georgia, North Carolina. I've shared with you all that my parents very much so active. They're very much so engaged in politics. And some of the great stories that I've gotten from them around voting, having stood an hour for up to 3 hours long to vote, but the exhilaration that I heard from my mom when I talked to my mother on yesterday after she cast her ballot was powerful. It really did. I just kind of let that wash over me a bit. It was something to hear. And that she talked about that in the line that she stood in, that there was just a real camaraderie in that line, and that there was just, after voting, there was all of this excitement. And to hear that this is not something that is relegated to just new voters. This is something that is happening with voters who have been voting, and voters that are casting their first time ballots as well. So this is truly, through it all, and I do mean this. Have a good day, love. This is truly an exciting time to be alive. And I say that um, understanding that we are in the midst of a public health crisis, an economic crisis, a housing crisis, that people are actively having their votes suppressed, that even those lines that people themselves are cultivating an environment of enthusiasm. We understand what we're seeing is good old fashioned voter suppression, because we also understand that there's just something additional that we have to do to ensure that we have made it clear about what we are in fact rejecting. So while to see those lines, to see that people are very much so dedicated, we saw this in 2018 during the midterm elections as well, right? But we also saw this in many of your respective states' primaries. However, what we are in fact celebrating is what I am sharing around my mother's experience, that she was so awesome to call and share with me yesterday afternoon, is that people not only are waiting, but people are waiting, and they are waiting with a level of just excitement, to be able to say that though I am not in a place where I can, just say you have to leave 1600 Black Lives Matter Plaza or 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. What I can say, standing in this line, casting this ballot, waiting to do just those things, is that you no longer will be deserve to be at the people's house. So that is what I'm celebrating: people's commitment, people's enthusiasm. It does not, now for me, where I vote, I'm going to be in and out. It's just that, it is just that type of voting precinct. I'm not going to be standing in line for a significant period of time. The last couple of times, last 2 or 3 times I voted here, I've not had to stand in line. And it is just because of that particular community that I live in. And there are people that have made that point, that they have not, even if it's um, their voting precinct, or perhaps it's where they're early voting, that they've not had to stand in line. But largely, especially around early voting, um, in those kind of generalized areas where people are casting ballots in person, there is a line. And good morning to you, Pam. It is fantastic to see you, sis. So absolutely, Aaron. Roland says that all the time. Hashtag fire Trump in November. So listen, good morning, Dr. Hoskins, Ebony. So fantastic to see you. Glad that you are with us, sis. Um, and so all of that to say to each and every one of you, listen, make sure that as you are in line, that you absolutely do have your PPE on. I'll share with you all just very briefly. Um, I shared that I had to be out of town for an emergency, and so I called my sister Sones and asked her, where could I get a face shield from? So I was having a really, really hard time finding face shields. And so she's very kind, spoke with her mom, got me over to Sam's. I'm sure that many of you all know this bike game, but just in case if you don't, Sam's has, and you may want to check to make sure that they still have them available, because for some there's limited availability, but they have packs of face shields that you can purchase. They're $4.99 for a box of 4 or 5, I believe. But your face shield, make sure you have your PPE. So your voting plan, your PPE, make sure you research that ballot. Make sure you have 5 on it. Bring people with you, and make sure that outside of bringing people with you, that you yourself are going to be working the polls as either a poll observer or as a poll worker or an election judge. And that's some of the suggestions that have been in the Savage Political Bite as we continue our 30 days of action here. Okay, great. Pam says that they do have the face shields at the Sam's Club in Albany, Georgia. So that is fantastic. But yes, indeed, just make sure that you have your PPE. Please social distance. For some people, they're double masking. They're wearing their cloth mask and then the surgical mask on top. So just make sure that as you are standing in line, as you are enthused about your vote, and as you really um, move through the active voter suppression that is happening, that you also keep yourselves covered up. We do want to keep you connected. Um, Okay, then Ms. Sloan says they put them out all at the same time. Mom said that sometimes you have to ask for the face shields at Sam's. Thank you so much, Sloan. That is really good um, to know. And that's around the face shields. I love mine. I brought 2 with me when I had to travel. Super easy to put one in the bag and have one on. So and $4.99. It is really a great deal to have there. Um, Hillberry says that absolutely it's time for him to leave the people's house. It is absolutely time for him to leave the people's house, particularly when you're considering that we are at 218,521 people, souls that are no longer with us, lives gone due to coronavirus. And you have a person who is occupying the White House that is traveling from state to state. I believe he was in North Carolina yesterday ahead of the unfortunate um, town hall that NBC held with him. I believe Savannah Guthrie moderated that, but I believe the numbers were more favorable for the Biden town hall that went yesterday as well on ABC around the same time as NBC's. But I believe before he went to NBC for that before he was at NBC's town hall, that he swooped through North Carolina and did a rally there. So he's been in Des Moines, Iowa. He's been I believe in Jacksonville, Florida. He's been about the country still as an infected person, um, um, screaming, lying, spreading disinformation, continuing to do the same things that we would expect from a person of no character, someone that I continue to reference as a demagogue and the son of a Klansman because he is both of those things. So as we continue to march closer to November the 3rd, it is really fantastic to see that people are really responding. And so, all of that to say is ignore the polls. Whatever the polls are saying, ignore the polls. The approach, as a matter of fact, that the Biden campaign is to say that it is in fact going to be close. It's a lot closer than you think. And that is a bit of the mental gymnastics piece, right? That is a bit to make sure that, as the country is on edge because of all of those named crises that I shared earlier, and then still more crises still happening, that people don't become complacent. And it's very easy to do. If politicos like, Pam can tell you that we still have a long time to go. 17 days is still a lot of days. And while this is definitely a much different presidential election cycle than the ones that we've traditionally seen. Just still, it is still a long ways to go. Let's see. Sherry Jones says, just a tip. I heard that some ballots here in North Carolina had candidates flip flops, Republican, Democrats on top or bottom down ballot. Just a reminder to make sure you are voting for the correct person Thank you so much. That is some really, really good insider information. And shout out to Sherry Jones. Sherry is all quiet as kept. Has been doing some important work fighting for women. Correct me if I'm wrong. Down in North Carolina, and has been a fantastic, fantastic ally in this cause. In this cause, she is the one who shared with me to share with the bike gang, just as a reminder to lift to the top that in fact make sure you're not wearing any political paraphernalia, anything that points to a candidate when you actually go in to exercise your vote. Um, and so it's something that I know, but something that she definitely brought to the top to remind to the audience. So thank you, Sharon. Appreciate all the work that you did. Elaine said his son was in my town this week, Cattleman's fundraiser. The very farmers who he played, yeah, they're so blind. Yeah, it's really the level of um, devotion uh, 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 the level of devotion to his cause is very very it's pitiful. However, the people are speaking, and that is something that I am very, very excited about. Good morning, Mogul Sharon Washington. Fantastic to see you. And Sharon and I are going to bring to you all the Bite Game, um, a conversation around marketing and politics. We did it before. We did it on IG Live, but we're going to be bringing that to you um, hopefully next week. Since just got back in town and really wanted to reconnect with you all, felt it best that we be able to make sure that we market that out to you. So good morning, Sharon. Always appreciate all of the work you do. And exactly, Pam, do not let the polls fool you. Just looking at some polls numbers from a couple of days ago, and there was an 11-point spread at this time just yesterday. The same kind of 11-point lead that we saw with um, the Hillary Clinton having a national lead. It was about around 11 points around this time 4 years ago. And we're seeing the same thing with the Biden camp. Listen, um, ignore that because we still have to count for voter suppression, absentee ballots. And then we still have to factor in a lot of what we saw around the exhilaration of the three states that he won in 2016: Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, that he won those states by 77,000 votes. When you break it out and look at the 200,000 people who were suppressed in their vote in the state of Wisconsin, voter suppression was not factored in. It was this celebration that, oh my gosh, he won by 77,000. He did not win. He stole that seat. He stole that election. He and that was due to voter suppression and Russian interference. So we definitely, definitely, definitely want to just continue to vote for those states that still have online registration. People are still able to register to vote. Um, those states, and if you are particularly a part living in those states, please make sure that you are encouraging people around you to make sure that they register to vote so that they can go ahead and cast their votes, if not early, on election day. But if you can cast your votes early, please, please, please cast your votes early. And I think that particularly for many of you that have already early voted, that you can evangelize in a much more meaningful way than someone who is not yet voted with 17 days left to go in this election. Hey, Tremaine, it's so fantastic to see you. Tremaine is a mental health SME and doing important work in that field. She says exactly based on the number of signs I see in Central PA and Northern and Central Maryland, the polls mean nothing. Amen. Listen, that message, that is a message that we need to continue to push and push and push and penetrate. Ignore the polls. Even if everybody, if you have a huge family, if everyone in your neighborhood votes, it is most important for you to cast your ballot. Another thing that we're looking at as well is just around disenfranchised voters, and that is around the incarcerated population. That those women and men who have brothers and sisters who have been incarcerated or incarcerated to cast ballots and have been unable to do so, um, that is a level of voter suppression as well, particularly when a person has already paid their debt to society. That they still should be involved in the voting process, particularly since their bodies are counted. Um, uh, Along the line when we think about prison gerrymandering, right? All the census efforts, unfortunately, um, closed out on yesterday because this particular regime continued to take to court the Census Bureau to end field efforts and data collections ahead of the October 31 deadline that was extended again. So that was rolled back, and yesterday was the last day to complete online. And again, any type of field data collection efforts had to stop yesterday. But, and I'm sharing all of that to say, to tie together that prison gerrymandering is definitely a thing that our incarcerated brothers and sisters, that they are in fact counted in these rural, largely white counties, excuse me, so their bodies are counted for the census. So ensure that they actually get the resources according to not only their population but the incarcerated population as well. If they are counted in the census, then they should be able to vote as well, and that's how I feel about that. So I'm saying all of that with you actually encouraging, engaging folks who are unregistered to also bring that point forward that, listen, there are people that are being counted in order to bolster funds for um, um, federal funds for their particular county, for their communities, based on bodies that look like mine and yours and many other people that you know in the event that you're not either black or brown. That we have to vote because there are just so many people that have been locked out of the process. And when we step back and we look at what party is making it easier to vote and what party is making it more difficult to vote, what party is being acting as an agent of chaos, and what party is acting as an agent of change, what party is messaging to you to encourage you to have a voting plan, um, what party is taking voters and counties and administrators to courts to stop people from being able to vote safely, what party is engaging in voter fraud actively, and it's not relegated to the South. This is across the United States of America. California, um, be with these false secure ballot boxes that were erected, voter fraud. Is fact, that is straight up voter fraud. When you look back and you see which party is engaging in chaos and scare tactics and lying and thievery, they're behaving like their master. Okay, that's just the bottom line. Um, they are they worship at the throne of the White House occupant. So when you look at the stark contrast between the two, I hope that as you know, each of us go into the booth, we're going into the booth with a clear mind and a clear heart, understanding what is at stake, and then relaying that message around to unregistered voters, because sometimes people who aren't as active in the body politic as they should just don't understand the difference between the two. There is stark difference. And if I had to make a decision around um, who is leading oppression efforts and who isn't, I would definitely be in the direction of who is not leading oppression efforts, right? So make sure that you research a ballot, and Sherry pointed out, make sure you're paying attention to the order, to the names, and that you are taking your time as you actually go about during this most incredible time, Bite Gang, making sure that you are voting down ballot in the top of the ticket. Um, in a way that definitely says that, this is how you're writing yourself into history, and this is how you are a part of laying a groundwork for what you want to see in the future, right? Because that's what it's about, good people. I'm really excited. And good morning to you, Dr. Wilson. I would love for you, if you are here and I've not shouted you out, for you to throw up an emoji or something so I can make sure I say good morning to you before I close out the Bite Gang, as we're at 7:57. And so I'm closing out to say, again, thank you, everyone. For the love. I got DMs. I got text messages, of course, from people that know me, but DMs, all Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, for people that were saying that they were praying for me and for my family. I have to. Good morning, Dad. It's fantastic to see. Y'all hiding in the corner. Y'all hiding in the corner. Look at you. So many encouraging texts. Look at my Jody Boo. Hey, my Jody Boo. Good morning. Y'all, that's my little sister. That's my baby. Good morning to you, my love. And good morning to everybody that's listening or watching by YouTube on the Savage Political Bite channel. Good morning. Thank you so much, my auntie, Dr. Gloria Watson. Always fantastic to see you. Thank you so much. It's so good to be back with the Bite Gang. Um, but thank you to everyone. I appreciate your love. I appreciate your prayers. Um, it was thank you, Elaine. Yeah, Roland Martin was interesting last night. So thank you. Appreciate that support there. Thank you to everybody that tuned in to Roland Martin Unfiltered, and appreciate you, Elaine. But thank you, everybody, for that space to be able to, particularly during this time right now, to step away, to take care of some family business, and just thank you for the love and for the support. There is a long way to go. And so I'm definitely kind of what I've already had planned for the Savage Political Bite. Definitely kind of makes sense, makes more sense to me now, because I think what I have, one of the things I should say rather, that I know I'm rediscovering, I'm a bit of a workhorse, right? I am a product of my mother. My baby sister Joelle is the same way, and my sister Kim is the same way as well. We are all in three respective different areas. My baby sister is dominated in healthcare, doing fantastic things. Managing and running facilities. Um, she is just an amazing person. I call her CEO already, right? Because she's definitely somebody that would, I would not, find it um, hard to believe that she would be running a hospital, a large hospital. But my sister is running a game in healthcare. My other baby sister in education, and me in politics. And so I'm saying that, just to kind of give you a little insight on the way that we were really socialized. And so it is, it, I do it and not even think about it a lot of times, kind of the level of work that I do. And I share with you all, I have a 9 to 5. I'm director at a political consulting and data management firm. So I have that. I have this independent media arm that I run, and do the Days of Action, the newsletter 3 days a week, now doing the Days of Action every day. I also have my own business as well. And then on top of that, I do media. So, and that is sometimes multiple days out of the week. And I'm sharing all of that to share with you all that this was what I've said has been really a divine interruption. It was not kind of a position that I've, figured that my sister and I would be in, our family would be in. But here we are. And I said all of that to say that when I'm talking about with us on the Savage Political Bite, how we end the session to make sure that the first voice that you hear is your voice, and that your voice is powerful, that you are speaking over yourself, that you are taking time to be very kind to yourself, right? And then that we do our breathing exercises. all of those things that I'm sharing with you all are critically important because those are things that I had to ingest myself. And so for those 5, 6 days that I was away, I did in fact travel home to my home state of Georgia and wanted to get around and see a couple of people, but I had to get back to understanding that I can't do everything, right? Um, I just can't, and there's just time where again a divine interruption says that you have to keep the main thing, and it's okay to step away. It is okay to make your full focus what is in front of you, and so I did, yeah, and I'm glad that you said that, Dr. Wendy Wilson, because you all know I brag about my big sis, Dr. Wendy Wilson. And so I was in Albany, right? I wanted to see many people. I did get the opportunity to go by the candy room and just see people standing in lines and got the reporting back that folks had been standing in line on the candy room. So I was there on Monday. I was there more than Monday, but Monday I got to see people actually standing in line, and that the line wrapped around the block, but that was like at 4:30 when I saw people standing in line. But the news and what people were sharing with me is that those lines had been like that all day long, which is really encouraging in my hometown of Albany, Georgia. So I'm saying all of that to say again, divine interruption, and very thankful that my big sister, as always, provided a space for me to rest, to be able to just step away from it all. She's such an incredible host. That coffee woke me up every morning, and she stayed up well past times that she would stay up and just talk with me, allowed me to cry, allowed me to be. And those things matter. So it was commented that I look very rested. And I have to say that is because of the incredible love of my mom and dad. It is incredible love of my sister, mom, my sisters, my family. It is because of the incredible love of my friends, my girl, Tanya Sloans, who my mom loves so much because of how she stepped into my life a couple of years ago, just like she had known me forever. My best friend, Nikki, and so many of you all who I've not yet met in quote unquote real life. I've not met you in person, but we have become connected virtually. So I want to say to each and every one of you all, the way I kind of had to leave out and go into town, handle business, and there's still an incredible road ahead. Still a lot to be done because the condition is not it's an irreversible condition, and there's just a lot to be done. But I do thank and bless each and every one, and my girl Pam, who I was able to get love from, if only for 30 minutes, because Pam and I usually, when we're together, we spend hours around one another. I cannot tell you all how blessed and how full I am because of you all virtually and because of people that are close and knitted into my heart. My friend, who I adore and I look up to her from afar, Pat Ridgway, who just imparted such wisdom that I did not know I would need. I knew I would need, but like I needed it immediately the next day. So these are still very trying times for my family. Definitely, it's a shift. But I am saying about this moment, it is in fact a divine interruption. And so, Bite Gang, I'm going to shut this out, saying to each and every one of you all, as I always say, I absolutely love you, and I mean that. I mean that as a person, I mean that as a believer. I love you all. So please, 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 because I'm going to be taking my own advice, right, to make sure that the first voice that you hear in the morning is your voice, and that your voice is full of power, that you are setting the tone for your day. Make sure before your feet hit the floor that you are intimately involved in washing yourself over with power, with love, with kindness, with mercy, with grace. And then, as always, as I've just started doing, do that breath work. Make sure that you are taking 10 deep breaths in the morning, just slowly inhaling and exhaling, and make sure that you are taking 10 deep breaths at the end of the day before you retire for the evening. And the all too important dance break. Make sure that you are taking dance break, praise break, whatever it is for you. Turn on your favorite song, whether it's worship, whatever that is, or it's whatever your favorite dance song, like whatever it is, and take a dance break. Do that because there are just uncertain days ahead, right? And so, yeah, divine interruptions are necessary. Amen. I agree with that. So please do that. Listen, y'all, I love you all. Have a fantastic and incredible day. Be looking out for your day of action from the Savage Political Bite today. And if you've not yet subscribed, please join the Bite Gang. Go to ericasavagepolitics.com. Get engaged. Get into this. Get into this whole community, this movement we're building. And please like and share this video. All right, good people. Listen, happy Friday. We will be doing this again on Monday, right? Monday, we'll be doing this again. And I can't wait to see you then. Thanks for tuning in to the #1 morning political primer in the nation. That is the Savage Political Bite. Have a great weekend. Love you all. See you on Monday. Bye-bye.